Hi everybody, sanibonani. Welcome to my channel. Igama lami nguNtando Mdletshe, and on this channel sikhuluma ngama-reality TV shows, ama-celebrities kanye nama-YouTubers. If it's your first time joining me today, or you've been around but you haven't subscribed, there is a subscribe button. If it's black, it means you haven't done the things, okay? Anyway, you guys, if you want to support this channel, you can like the video. Kanti-ke, there's also adverts on this video. There's a thanks button and there's also a join button. Just test it out, okay? It will tell you what to do if you intend to support the channel. Anyway, you guys, listen. When I was doing ama reviews of Rosemary's Hit List, which is, by the way, the documentary which is on Show Max. You guys, they've posted 3 episodes. I think they have one more to do this coming Wednesday. Usually I don't get into like the individuals that are participating in the documentary and the individuals that participated in the catching of Rosemary, because a lot of the times I'm trying to make sure that people that are not going to be able to go on Showmax and watch the story are able to follow the story. So I'm trying to make sure that the story flows enough and keeps people interested so that they can follow what happened with Rosemary. So I try and focus on the story, especially when it comes to the murders. Okay, but there's a lot of people that participated in the catching of Rosemary. So I always feel like at the end of the video, because I'm also trying to make sure that the video is not too long, I don't do justice in really talking about the people that participated in the making of this documentary, and but also people that participated in catching the documentary. And one of those people, you guys, is Sergeant Mabunda, and this is the person, you guys, the investigator that really worked really hard to help catch Rosemary. You guys, there's a number of things, honestly, when I'm watching the documentary that for me really impressed me when it comes to him. I think it's really great as South Africans for us to know, as much as we don't really put a lot of our hopes on our SAPS a lot of the times because of the stories that come out sometimes where they don't do their job when they're supposed to and all of that. But it's really great for us to know that they in the police force, there are people that are really going out of their way to do what they are supposed to do. So it gives us comfort that we can still go to these police stations sometimes when we need to report certain things, and there are people there that will listen to what we have to say, you know. And it is interesting that this detective, you guys, actually got involved in this case by accident, basically, because he is sitting in his office. He overhears a conversation between another, investigator that was supposed to investigate the case. Maurice was Rosemary's husband. He overhears the conversation and he gets curious about it, and then because of course he's feeling like they're not taking it as serious as they should, he ends up taking the docket and he takes over the case. Nobody had actually appointed him to be the one that investigates this case. And a lot of these cases that he ends up investigating, that's what happens. He has a feeling about it, and he feels like there is more to the death than is being revealed, and he ends up investigating, and his instincts are always right. Okay, so he does mention that in his investigation, especially at the beginning, he had to make sure that Rosemary didn't know that he was investigating her. So he couldn't go directly to her and ask for information. So he used a lot of information when it came to the bank accounts. He does mention that Rosemary had bank accounts in every single South African bank that you can think of. Rosemary had a bank account there. He also did a lot of communications with the insurance companies, okay? Because a lot of the times with these murders, he would find out after they had been committed. And the way that he would find out is because he would call the insurance companies just randomly and ask them, have you made any payments to Rosemary Ndlovu? And they would tell him, yes, we did make a payment on this particular day. And then he will go and investigate and he will find out it's one of the relatives, and that's how he will find the information on how the relative has passed. Okay, so he did a lot of that. He even at some point attempted to go to one of the insurance companies that kept on paying Rosemary Ndlovu to say, guys, what you are doing right now is wrong. I might not have enough evidence to give to you and say that this person committed these murders, but the fact that we are still investigating, it is wrong for you to actually pay this person. Okay. And also, you guys, another thing that really impressed me with Ubab Mabunda is that at some point, you guys, remember the two ladies that were Audrey's neighbors, Audrey being Rosemary Ndlovu's sister, the one that she allegedly poisoned. Well, I guess it's not alleged now because she is convicted. The sister that she poisoned through tea. Those two ladies, you guys, who were neighbors, after they had told the story of what happened with Rosemary's sister, remember they knew that Rosemary was a policeman. So now they needed these ladies to come and write statements at the police station. They needed to write like a formal statements to say this is what happened. Rosemary came with her sister. They went to the house. She came out of the house the next day. The sister had passed. But those ladies were scared to do that because they knew that they had seen her wearing a SAPS uniform and they did not want to be in trouble. But this investigator had gone and sat down with them and had conversations with them. He said that it took him 4 whole years before the ladies actually agreed to give him a statement. Okay, so he kept asking them, guys, can you please come to the police station and give me a statement? And they would say no, they are scared. Okay, and he had to spend 4 years building a relationship with these ladies so that he could get the information that he needed, because he knew that these ladies had the information that they needed to help to catch Rosemary. So what he says he did was that he said to these ladies, listen, you guys, it's fine if you don't want to give me a statement whenever you're ready, but listen, if you need anything from the police, I'm here. Just call me. Don't even go to the police station. Just call me. That meant that even when these ladies needed things like affidavits, even if they needed to certify copies and all of that, he would help them with that. So he talks about how sometimes he would have to drive from his station to these ladies' houses to help them with affidavits, to help them with certifying copies or whatever it is that they needed at their houses so that they could gain his trust. So over 4 years, he was building that relationship with these ladies. He says that finally, after 4 years, they were like, you know what, we'll make a statement. And then they made the statements. And those were the statements that helped in the case Ka Audrey, who was Rosemary's sister. I thought that that was the I don't know, the biggest patience that you can ever have, to wait for 4 years, because someone else might have given up. After a year, you're like, these ladies don't want to give us a statement, so let's give up. But he never gave up for 4 years, you guys. Every time that they would call him to say, listen, we need an affidavit, whatever, he would go there and help them. Listen, we need help with this, he would go there. Things that were not necessarily his job to do, because this is not like a junior police officer at the police station that he needed to do that, but he would do it just so that they could get to a point where they trusted him enough to give him that information. I was so impressed by that, you guys. He also talks about how after Audrey had passed, because Rosemary had called the insurance company to take the policy, the insurance company had voice recordings of that. And even though they could hear that this is Rosemary, obviously speaking here, but someone else might argue that Rosemary had the same similar voice to her sister. So they needed to find out if it really was Rosemary. So they had to get another recording where Rosemary was taking insurance that was her own insurance, because this one, she was pretending to be the sister. Remember, on the phone, she pretended to be a sister who is taking life insurance. Because remember, I can't just take insurance on someone else. I have to take it on myself. If I take it on someone else, that person has to give me permission to do that. So she would pretend that she is the sister. So they took that recording and they had to go to another insurance company where she had taken her own life insurance and take that recording, and they had to get it to a specialist that was going to compare the two voices and come to a conclusion that these two were actually of the same person, you guys. So I was so impressed by that too, you guys. So then also remember, after Moyeni, who was Zanele's brother, was murdered, he actually went out to contacted all insurance companies, because at some point, you remember the initial insurance payment that he stopped, and he said they must put everything on hold. He had to let them pay it so that Rosemary won't be alarmed and be aware of the fact that she is being investigated, But after Moyeni's death, he actually was the one that actually stopped all, communicated with insurance companies to say, listen, stop all payments to Rosemary and Ndlovu. And then the matter that happened after Moyeni, then she did not get the payment. So there's one payment that Rosemary Ndlovu did not get because of this detective, you guys. He also talks about how he spent almost 2 years in the docket, in the dock. I mean, uh, opposing bail, because he was determined that Rosemary Ndlovu must not get bail. He did everything that he could to make sure that he was not, she did not get bail. And remember, guys, by this time when he was opposing bail, this is the time where he was being, he was given the information that Rosemary was trying to get people that would delete him too. So his life at this point was also in danger. This investigator, you guys, was so determined to get all the information that he could on these crimes, that he says that a number of times he has gone to prison to visit Rosemary Ndlovu, because he felt like the hitman that Rosemary possibly used at the beginning of the murders that she committed earlier on, he never found out who those people were, and he hasn't been able to settle with this case, because he just wants to know. He's not happy with the fact that he does not know who those hitmen were. The only hitmen that they know about are the hitmen that approached them and that helped them and that ended up being witnesses on the case, you guys. So listen, I want to recognize him on this video, because I really do feel like he's one of those people. He's not the only person that assisted in catching Rosemary Ndlovu, but I feel like he was a big part of it, you guys. His commitment. I mean, there were cases here that were not. Uh, the cases were not opened in his police station, and he will have to go to those police station and find out what was happening with those cases and find a way to take over those cases, because he really believed that these cases were related to each other. I mean, other people could have missed it, honestly, because if the cases are not being opened in the same police station, you might not be able to connect the dots, and maybe Rosemary Ndlovu would have ended up being charged with 2 murders instead of 6. But because he was so committed to this, they actually were able to put everything together to say, no, all of these 6 murders were committed by the same person, and this person should be charged. Anyway, you guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Please tell me what you think about this in the comment section. Like the video and share it with your friends, with your family, and even with strangers. Ntando kakhulu.